Hello, everyone, and welcome to Visionary Voices. My name is Brad Tompkins, your host, and we are excited to be here today with Krish Prasad. Krish, of course, is the SVP and GM of VCF. Krish, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's the second anniversary of the acquisition,
right.
so I'm very excited to be here talking to the VMUG members, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, happy that you're here. So, as you mentioned, it has been 2 years since a little over 2 years now since the acquisition, and a lot of things have changed. But let's talk a little bit about from your SVP GM perspective of the state of the cloud and state of the public cloud market today.
Yeah, it's very interesting. If you look at the last 2 years, there has been a significant shift in the cloud market. Maybe go back, rewind 5 years. Every enterprise in the world was saying, hey, public cloud first, we are going to the public cloud. And there were a few enterprises that decided they wanted to modernize their own infrastructure at that time, but they did it by stitching together disparate technologies and trying to do a software-defined infrastructure within their companies. Both of those strategies really failed. And on the public cloud side, the skyrocketing costs of the public cloud, concerns about compliance and security, and on the DIY project side, talent was an issue. Customers are not seeing the TCO benefits that they expected, and the efficiency and the user experience did not match what they were expecting to get from their own implementation. And so, we were at a point a couple of years ago where customers were looking for a different approach. And many of them were saying, hey, we would like to have a platform approach to this. Give us a platform that will help us modernize the infrastructure and give a AWS-like experience to our developers. And so that's what VCF division set out to do. And earlier this year, we delivered VCF 9, and the interest and the demand has been through the roof. And it exceeded all our expectations. So we are very excited. The momentum is there. And the one thing I would say is, there was a recent survey that we did with many of the enterprises worldwide, just to kind of confirm, what we are seeing. And a couple of things came out of it, 2 data points. Number one is that many of the customers, a majority of them, are talking about moving their workloads, some of their workloads, from public to private cloud. So that is a real thing that is happening now. And the second one is that you're seeing customers for the first time talk about new applications, cloud native applications being targeted for on-prem compared to the public cloud. In the past, it was all, hey, we are going to the public cloud for cloud native. That's no longer the case. So that's a huge shift in the market, and so the pendulum has swung for sure, but it didn't swing back to the legacy infrastructure. It swung back to the modern private cloud, right? Which is run all types of applications, public cloud-like experience to the developers, but the economics of on-prem. And that's really what is happening, and VCF 9 is the solution that enables customers to do that.
Yeah, and VCF 9, of course, came out last year, and customers own very, areas of their VCF journey. And so you kind of alluded to this, but where do you see the private cloud, going? Where is that market headed in the future?
Yeah, I mean, the momentum is really going to increase because the tailwinds are there. And there are 2 particular ones that I will point to. One is AI. So the advent of AI, most of the enterprises want to do inferencing on-prem closer to where the data is. And so that is moving more workloads to on-prem. The second one is the customers are looking for sovereign, in many other regions of the world, sovereign infrastructure and that is creating a big boost for the private cloud journey. So I just see the private cloud really continuing to accelerate, and so we are seeing that momentum in the market. I talked about the demand for VCF 9. These tailwinds are driving that.
And I feel that too when I talk to the VMUG members at various events that I go to. They're excited about what 9.0 has, and conversation is more about that technology and what they can do with it, and they're excited about trying it out because not everybody's on 9 yet, but they're getting there.
Yes.
So what's your vision for VCF? I mean, 9's out there. There's promise of even more. What's next?
I mean, look, we have a very simple vision or mission for our team in Broadcom, which is to deliver the industry's best private cloud platform for our customers. And I would put it in kind of 3 categories. The first category is we always want to be the place where you can run all the applications with the best performance and security. Okay, and so as an example, VCF is kind of unique in the sense that we have both containers and VMs, all orchestrated by Kubernetes, natively built into the platform. There is all the other vendors who kind of do a sleight of hand, and you have to have split platforms and all that kind of stuff. Not the case with VCF, right? It's built in, and we have AI workloads can run on our platform, and it can run with a performance that matches bare metal, right? So we want every application to have the best performance running on our platform. So you'll continue to see investments in that area, as new types of applications come, just like we did with AI. The second area is operating the cloud, which is close to the heart of all the VMUG members.
Yes.
Right? And I'll tell you, the largest customers that we have, the scale is tremendous. They are putting in 3 to 5 million cores.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a lot of cores.
Yeah, that's a lot of cores. And so think about the scale at which you need to operate, to set up, to configure, to run, then monitor, and do the life cycle, all of that. And so we wanted to make it real easy and simple for the operators. So that's the second piece of the roadmap, and you'll see continued investment in making it easier and easier, and over time, AI built in so that humans don't have to do a lot of the work. AI will help automate most of the work, right? That's the second piece of it. And the third piece is, getting customers through their adoption journey. I was in a call this morning, 7 a.m., but looking through the accounts and where they are, a lot of customers are deploying, right? And what can we do to help? And so we want to meet the customers where they are and then help them transition to the full private cloud. So those are the 3 major areas that we are focused on from a roadmap perspective. The only other thing I would kind of say is that customers really have looked to us to solve difficult problems for them, even from the early days of ESX, right? Think about vMotion, right?
I remember exactly where I was when I saw that for the first time.
Customers would say, how did you do that, right? You have a live application and you're moving it around, right? And so we like to solve those kind of problems. And so, and then customers also like us looking forward for them, looking at potential issues that are coming down the road. A good example is AI, right? So when the Gen AI took off, we already had a platform that was optimized for running AI because we worked on it for several years with NVIDIA before that, okay? And similarly, is very relevant today, is memory tiering.
Well, that's a big thing right now.
Right? The DRAM prices are going through the roof.
It's insane.
Right? And and the server costs therefore are also through the roof. And so we enable customers to have DRAM tiered with NVMe, right? Reducing the cost significantly without sacrificing performance, right? That's the beauty of the memory tiering solution. And so that's getting a lot of attention organically nowadays because of the DRAM price. So we kind of anticipated what was going to happen on the DRAM side, but we never thought it would be this high. But so that's the way we think about our roadmap.
Well, I think it's important, and people want a partner that's looking out for problems that they don't even know they have
Yes.
yet. And the AI is a perfect example. I've been working with NVIDIA that years and years before it's launched. So when it's launched, it's baked and ready to go. And people are like, okay, great, now I can adopt something that I'm familiar with and I know how it works. You touched on earlier people that kind of went to a bunch of different paths to try to get their apps going, and that the skill set was a problem. And we have got hundreds of thousands of VMUG members and vCommunity members that have got decades of VMware and vSphere experience, and doing all that in a platform like VCF that they're familiar with, it just makes it so much easier.
Absolutely.
So much easier. And you're providing that platform that can do AI, that can do Kubernetes and all those things.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the way to think about it is we started off with most of the VMUG members were server virtualization admins, right? And they built their career around that space. And if you think about vSphere, it was really something that IT's valued, meaning bring it in, I can consolidate, right? It helps me manage non-disruptive operations, all of that. It's mostly IT focused.
It's a data center.
Data center solution, and the IT people saw a lot of value in it, and indirectly it helped the others. But now we are in a different space.
Yes.
We need a different platform because now it's all about infrastructure as code. You're actually going to help your developers interact with the infrastructure directly through APIs. It's a completely different world. Right, and not through tickets. No, it's all about agility and flexibility of the developer, and that's where you need a cloud platform. And so we have gone, in a way, VCF is the new vSphere.
I agree. And that excitement around vSphere, and you mentioned vMotion and all those cool things that were happening. The members are feeling that excitement now with VCF, especially as new technology keeps getting introduced. And they're like, oh, wow, we can do that now. And again, sometimes it's things they didn't even know they needed to do. But,
Exactly.
With memory pricing the way it is and GPUs that are hard to get, the solutions that VCF can bring to drive down total cost of IT.
Yes.
But I think you're right. That was, vSphere was a data center decision. It didn't have to go to the CIO. Well, now the CIO is coming down and saying, no, we need a cloud platform that can run everything that we need to run. We need to keep it secure. We need to have speed to get things to production and all those kind of things. And, VCF is a great way to do that.
I mean, look, the IT department becomes relevant to the lines of business if you really provide a cloud-like experience to them. If you are still in the old ticketing and, we'll take care of it in 6 weeks or whatever, and people don't wait, they'll just go to the public cloud. So to be relevant, you have to offer a cloud-like experience to your lines of business. And that's almost like a survival thing. You won't survive if you don't do that. And so it's very important to understand that and then leverage the technologies that we are providing, which makes it easy to deliver that kind of experience.
So how are some of the customers that are further along in the VCF journey, how are they capitalizing on some of these things?
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. So if you look at across the world, right, you go to any region, I do a lot of traveling, the biggest customers, the marquee customers in each of the regions, by default, are our customers, right? Anybody of any size, anybody of any kind of marquee name, you can assume that they are our customers. But then within that, you take like the top Fortune companies, okay? 9 out of 10 of them are VCF customers, okay? Any vertical that you take, banking, defense, retail, all the key companies are VCF customers. So, the breadth of usage and the different types of customers actually using us are, there is no comparison. And so that's where I would start. Then if you look at specific examples, right? You look at the financial industry. The largest banks in the US, the largest banks in Asia, whether it's India, Singapore, they are all VCF customers, fully deployed. And I talked about the scale. Some of these banks, 4 to 5 million cores. They're building data centers like crazy in different countries, all over the world. And so that's the scale at which they are operating VCF. This is not like they were only using vSphere, full stack, deployed and operating at scale, right? And then you think, oh, maybe it is for large customers. It's not true. The first customer who deployed VCF 9 was on stage at Explore in Vegas, which was a small insurance company called Grinnell Mutual.
Yes, that was a fantastic part of the keynote.
Right. And then so what do they have? They are a small company, but it was very critical for them to give a cloud-like experience to their developers internally. And they were talking about how they accomplished that by deploying VCF, and they did it in like few weeks. It was done when they were on the stage. And so you see the entire spectrum, the small to the large. And then the second one is, there are new areas. So think about Audi, right? Car company, manufacturing, right? We are already in their data center, but we were not in the manufacturing shop, right? And so, but Audi was thinking, hey, we need to make the manufacturing shop software defined, okay? But they are running all these robots, right, which have all kinds of near real-time requirements. The latency is very stringent because everything is moving around real time, right? And only VCF could meet their latency requirements. They tried all kinds of stuff and then selected VCF, and so they started deploying it in there. And now other car makers are starting to go after that. So you see, it's all different types of industries, not only in the data center at the edge, it's all in the manufacturing. So it's a great time. We are seeing a lot of customer interest and success.
Yeah, and that Audi example is great because they're using it, on the manufacturing floor. So they're pushing it out to the edge, and it's able to run that. And you think about all the other VMUG members, it doesn't matter if you're running, VMs, AI workload, Kubernetes workloads, it can all be run on VCF. And there's a tremendous amount of savings that companies can see because they don't have to go back to college. They don't have to train their people on, 15 different platforms.
Yes.
So that's a very big strength of VCF.
Yeah, in fact, typically customers see around 50% TCO benefits, right? Reduction in cost of ownership compared to legacy infrastructure that they had on-prem.
50%.
50%. This is very consistent because we sit down with every customer, what is their business case, they capture all the things that they are saving, including data center facility, all of that, and you consistently see 50%. And then if you compare with the public cloud, 50% is like the floor, right? It's all the way up to like 2 to 3x.
Yeah.
Right. So it's huge.
One thing about the Grinnell Mutual example and them being up on main stage is I had members after that keynote saying that really hit me because it was somebody that was like me, meaning size of company.
Yes.
I think he talked about, they have a less than, less than 20 person IT department. And they're all around VCF making this work for, for their company.
Yes.
So it's exciting to see people's eyes get open. They get excited about, VCF and just understanding the vision that Broadcom has for the product and that you have for the product, coming to life.
Yes.
Combine that with the cost savings and really future-proofing your company. Not everybody's a dev shop, but at some point you're gonna need to be able to ingest Kubernetes, containers, those kind of things, and you can do it, in the platform that you've been using for years and years.
Oh, exactly. And, one of the interesting things with Grinnell is that their size actually helped in a way for deploying the cloud because they don't have these silos within their organization. They have like one IT team, like you said,
Ah,
right? And so decision making was very fast, right? In a huge company, you start doing this, there are all these siloed teams that have to negotiate. It takes time to really get it all going, right? And so it is a very interesting example that, the smaller the company, it's kind of counterintuitive, but they were able to deploy and get it going very fast.
it is nice to hear, you have the big names, you mentioned the Audis and those kind of companies, but the smaller ones that are Grinnell, everybody is really getting around this. And with the savings that you see, 50% is 50%. It doesn't matter if you have a $2 million budget or a $2 billion budget. That's real money.
That is real.
That is real money.
Yes.
So one thing that VMUG members come to VMUG for is around career development.
Yes.
And of course, Broadcom and VMUG have a great partnership, and we appreciate that. But what would you say to the VMUG member about developing their career?
It's the best time. All these dynamics in the market that we talked about, right? It's the best time for somebody in the infrastructure space to take their career to the next level. So think about our VMUG members who kind of built a career around server virtualization and maybe vSAN and so on. Now think about that person becoming a champion in the company, becoming known for, hey, I actually transformed our company, helped transform it to a public cloud-like experience for our developers, right? You'll be known for it within the company.
Absolutely.
You'll be known for it outside the company. There are actual people that we all have interacted with who have gone through that journey, right? And so the first step in that is really focus on modernizing and be the champion for delivering a cloud-like experience, okay? That's number one. Then think about the applications. We talked about AI, right? So you could be the champion for bringing in AI type workloads to the platform, right? You could become the AI person in the company and champion that. Secondly, Kubernetes and all types of modern workloads. Think about all those things in your resume, right? And so that's what the possibilities are. Now we have a lot of training that we have built to help them go on that journey, right? Our account teams, if you reach out to them, will help you create business cases that they can then use internally to convince their management. So we are here to help, but the possibilities are endless, and this is the right time for them to really take a huge step in their career.
And our members have been telling us for years they want to move up. They want to move up and not just be that, vCenter admin. And it's like, well, now's your chance because you've got so many more avenues to go with VCF. And, it could be AI, like you said. It's a bunch of different options. One thing you touched on is training, and I think a lot of people might not know this, but if you're a VCF subscriber, how do they get that training?
Oh, we have free. Yes, we have free certificates for our VMUG members, and we have recently added some of our add-ons like ANS to the list. And so, we really, I have to say, after coming into Broadcom, we have strengthened the relationship with the community.
Oh, I agree 100%.
Right? And Hawk is very much focused on nurturing and building this community, same with our division. And so we'll continue to do things like that to help the community advance.
Yeah, we appreciate that. I think the big thing is if you're a VCF subscriber, that training is free online for everybody. That's something that Broadcom includes in the subscription. You mentioned VMUG Advantage, and that's something that allows you to not only get certified, but you can get bits for your home lab to see VCF 9 in action, 128 core. So that's fantastic to have that. We appreciate that partnership.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Krish, thanks for your time today. We really appreciate
much.
You being here and for the partnership. And we look forward to seeing you at VMUGs and at Explore and Explorers on Tour and everywhere else.
Yes, very nice to see you. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. If you'd like to learn more about VMUG, you can do that at vmug.com, and we'll see you at the next Visionary Voices.